Welcome to another installment of Parent Perspective, a video series designed to educate and assist parents, guardians, and family members of our current Arkansas Tech University students. We hope that through these video series, we can provide you some valuable insight in the academic and social life of your college student. Today, our topic is the semester break. We wanted to provide some insight from the student's perspective on what it's like coming home for an extended period of time as you prepare in the coming weeks for your loved one to be back in the nest, if you will. So I'd like to welcome Ms. Blair Miller to our video chat today. Thank you, Blair.
Hello. How are you?
Great. Thank you for spending the time with us today on this very important topic. So before we get into some of the specifics, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what year you're here at Arkansas Tech and where you're from, that type of stuff?
I'm from Woodlawn, Arkansas. I'm a senior rehabilitation science major with a minor in disability studies. I'm on the dance team here at Tech, and I love it so much.
Good. So, Blair, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking to parents about their students coming home. So, as a senior, that's been a little while ago. So, if you could kind of think back to that. Do you remember what it was like as you headed home for your first semester break a few years ago?
My first semester break was very interesting because I was, of course, newly here at Tech, and I was like, first off, I don't want to leave because I'm having so much fun, but I was excited to get back home to my family and be able to have someone take care of me again.
Oh, were you nervous about anything going home? Had there been any significant changes in your life as far as your sleep habits or when you stayed out till when you checked in and who you checked in? I'm sure maybe your parents didn't always know exactly where you were at all times.
Yes, I would tell my parents good night on the phone around 8 or 9, and so I was nervous about going home and staying up till 1 or 2 every morning, watching Netflix or doing whatever at home, and them worrying about me or, hey, you need to get sleep, or they're going to be taking care of me now again, and I was worried about them taking care of me too much because now I was independent.
So you did feel a sense of independence even after one semester?
I did, most definitely. After the first couple of weeks, I was like, well, I can do what I want to do here because I don't have anyone telling me, hey, you got to go to bed, or hey, you got to get up at this time.
Sure. And that's a change when you go back home because you think maybe you're under the old roof, that maybe it's just mind tricks, but that's kind of a different feeling going back home again after you've, maybe you don't sleep at all. Maybe you go to bed till 2-3 o'clock in the morning and you worry about that. Was it harder for you to adjust on your first trip home, or was it harder for your parents to adjust you being home for the first extended period of time?
I think it was harder for my parents because they got, the feel of, our daughter's gone and now she's going to be coming back. We got to do this and we got to do this, and this person has to see her, and we got to make sure we do this for her. But now that I was independent and on my own, it was easy for me because I was like, well, I'm just going to go home and I can do this because I take care of myself. And they weren't used to not taking care of me anymore. So it was a big adjustment, them realizing that I was so independent now.
I hear that a lot with students, is the fact that everything's pre-planned out. We've got to go to this family, we got to see this person, and it puts some stress on them because they're used to doing kind of what they want. Is that kind of what you felt like?
Most definitely. I came home and they're like, your aunt wants to see you, or your grandma has this planned for you, and we have a big family get together. And honestly, all I want to do is sleep because you don't get, all I want to do is come home. My parents did my laundry for me, cook for me, and I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want any pre-planned events because I had so much going on at school that I kind of wanted to come home and just debrief from being at school all semester.
Now, coming back home also connects you to, as our semester breaks always line up with your friends from high school that went off to different colleges. And I know from students, like, that's really important to engage with them because the texts, the snaps, the weekend visits on occasion are not nearly what's needed, and that quality time to engage with them again. Was that a big part of your life, is touching base with your high school folks as they were home as well?
Oh, most definitely. People say, you don't talk to people from high school. I think that depends on the person. I did talk to several people from high school, and especially different semesters, there's either basketball games or football games that you want to go to, and you want to be able to go and see these high school friends that were back home. And so I would go hang out with them, and then you're used to just hanging out with your friends at school. So coming home, my parents would be like, why are you out this late with your friends? But we were just used to just hanging out till whenever. So.
Yeah, I know some people had said in the past that, well, you like your high school friends better than you like your grandma and grandpa. It's different. It's like you want to engage with them, and because for 5 years, for longer than that, you guys were part of everyday life. So that's great. Looking back to your first year, would you have done anything different heading home the first time?
I would have known to clean out my fridge better, because you're gone for so long, and then you come back and you're like, oh, I left all this stuff in here. I also would have taken more summer clothes home and made sure that I was making that transition of clothes too, because you don't think that that's a big deal, but it really is. It gets colder, especially Arkansas weather. You never know. And so coming back, I was like, I don't have enough warm clothes, or vice versa. I don't have enough warm clothes. And so I definitely would make sure that I was prepared for both of those scenarios.
Sure. Do you have, now that you've been coming back on semester breaks for the last 3 years, do you have any issues now as an older student, or is it more old hat now? Your parents you have an equal understanding of what to expect when you get home, or is there still concerns?
There's still a couple of concerns, just for the fact that I have to remind them, especially now that it's been so long. I just turned 21, and so I get older and I'm taking care of myself even more. Mom's like, did you go get gas? Or, I'm like, Mom, I can, get gas. And, it's just because they care about you so much. And sometimes you just have to remind them that, hey, I'm not, super little anymore. I can do stuff on my own. But it's gotten a little bit better, but there's still always those concerns that your parents are going to ask you about.
Sure. What's the best thing about going back home?
The best thing, most definitely cooking, because here, of course, we have the wonderful calf, but I mean, nothing like home cooking from your parents, and also laundry. I mean, I'm blessed with parents who do my laundry and cook for me, and so that's most definitely the best part about going home.
I would agree. That was back when I was in college. That was the best.
Yes, sir.
Best part about that. What's the hardest part now going home for semester break?
The hardest part is that my course load is a little bit harder, and so I want to go home and relax, but I want to get my homework done. But then also we have the factor of people wanting to see me, because I don't come home that much, and so a break, I go home because it's an extended period of time. And so I go home, and of course they have these events lined out for me, and I'm like, y'all have to understand that it's college, and I need to get my homework done. And so definitely that's probably the hardest part of going home, because I still have homework to do, and they have to understand that.
What suggestions, we're talking here to parents of current students, what suggestions would you have for parents and guardians and family members as they prepare for, in some cases, for their student to come home for the first extended period of time? What suggestions would you provide to them?
I would suggest preparing in a sense of it's a guest coming home. It is your child, of course, but you have to realize that take in consideration where they're coming from also. Put yourself in their shoes for a little bit. They're not getting sleep. They're trying to do their work, and they're hanging out with friends. So maybe they do want to come home and hang out with high school friends because they've been around friends 24/7. And then also they want to catch up on sleep. So make sure that you're letting them sleep and not overloading them with people coming over or a lot of questions about everything that has been going on.
Sure. Stick with the home cooked meal.
Yes. Please do that for your children.
Well, Blair, we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us like this. This is an exciting time for parents as you come home, but there is some nervousness for students as they go back because, as Blair indicated there, she said goodnight to her mom and dad at 8 or 9 o'clock, but that was maybe not when she was going to bed. So please be understanding of that. But Blair, again, we appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll have a wonderful break with your loved one, and we'll be anxious to have them back here in the spring semester. So Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.